All right, welcome back, everyone. And this is going to be the second from the last lesson of this term. So after next one, next Friday, the term will end. But you probably have seen that so far we only learned the Java basics, variables, data types, logics, loops, and so on, arrays. But we haven't really learned the core of Java. There's classes, objects, or you may have heard OOP programming. OOP stands for object-oriented programming. So we haven't really learned anything on that. That will happen next term in spring. So I hope we all can continue, and hopefully by the end of next term, we will cover most of Java basics. Okay, let's do a quick review of last lesson. In last lesson, we learned the break and the continue statements in loops. The break can be used to break a for loop. They can also break a while loop. And then we learned the continue. Also in for loop, they continue actually can skip a loop. And same to the continuing a while loop. So the break is basically break everything after this loop. But the continue is just escape this loop or this iteration. And then we learn the Java arrays. So array can be any type, string, int, double, single character. And the syntax is just like the type followed by no space, the square bracket, and then space, and then variable name, and the equal sign, and then curly braces, and then comma separated elements. If it's a string, each element has to be quoted. If it's an int, there's no need to quote, of course. It just lists the numbers, int numbers, and so on. And to access array, you access by the array index. And the array index starts with 0 and end with the string length -1. And there's a array property called a string, length. It's called cars, the variable name dot length. So it's a property. You can get the length or how many elements in the array. You can also change the array value. Simply just put a new value, assign the new value to the element, not the array and the index, and that's the element, and just assign a value to that. That will change the array. And I left some questions for you to think or to try at home. And let's do that. Let's review the answers. I hope you have all tried it or done it. And the answers, let me see, instead of typing them, I'm going to just copy and then run it, okay? And to copy here. So the question is, in for loop, there's a for loop from 0 to 20. Print all numbers in front of 15. So not in 15. That means okay, if we have this loop, we check the element value. If it's 15, then break. This break means break the whole loop and then just go to end of the loop. So no more iteration, no more looping back. So, and that way it will print everything before 15. Why don't I just run it here? Yeah, so it's 0 all the way to 14 and then break. The next question is in a while loop. So we have a while loop. And that's again from 0 to 20 and skip number 15. So basically don't print 15, but print the rest. So that's a good place to use continue actually, not break. Use continue. That means when the number is 15, then continue means, okay, skip this one, continue to 16. And that will it will just skip 15, okay? And if you compare for and a while, the for you can initialize the pointer or of this variable inside the for on the for line, but for the while you cannot put the initialization inside the process. So you have to initialize before the while line. So that's the difference. But anyway, let me copy that. Okay. Here. And I want to make sure I'm still recording the thing. Good. Let's run that. So let's see, we print 0, 1, 2, all the way to 14, and then we see 15 and it says continue, means don't do anything, continue. The continue not just continue outside this, next line, is continue actually go back to the while or to the next loop, continue. That's why we don't get any, that's why we don't get the 15 printed out. But since those two lines, watch the I plus plus, that's to increase the I. Since that's not get executed either, so we have to add that line, copy that line to here, before the continue. If we don't do that, then the continue will go back to, oh, that's 15, and then continue, and then we got an infinity loop. They never get out, and never print 16, because those lines just like, when the I is 15, those two lines are not executed. So actually, what's the best way to do it? The best way to do it is either do that, or if we want to use just a one, then another way to do it is instead of put here, we can put at the beginning. So we increase I, the first thing. We can do that. So if we do that, then we get 15 not printed out, but then problem, instead of printing 0, now we got 20 print out. Since the while loop, we don't want print 20, we want print 0 and not 20. So because we put these, increment this first, then they've got they shifted. So one way to do it is we initialize it. Instead of set to 0, I set to -1. That way we can print a 0 and 9 to 19, not 15. Let's try that. So we got a 0. We still get 20. Yeah, initialize finish. Yeah. See, that's tricky. Yeah, that's because less than, unless we change that to 19. So that's not, that's ugly. So now it's 0 all the way to 19, but now we have to change the loop. Not good. Now we have to shift the initial value. Not ideal. So the best is probably just keep that in 2 places. That's fine. So 0, no 15, and 19. So that's probably the best way to do it. Anyway, next one. Define any array of 10 elements, print the value of the 5th element. Okay, fine. Define array. I pick a string array. You can use integer or whatever. I say, okay, I have an array of fruits. My favorite fruits: watermelon, pear, apple, orange, banana, strawberry, cherry, raspberry. Did I spell that correctly? I think so. Blueberry, peach. 10 of them. Yep. Print out the 5th element. 5th element, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5th. Or that's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a 5th. But to access the 5th, you cannot, again, you cannot say, oh, print the 5th. That's not correct because that's going to print the 6th, the strawberry. We want to print the banana. That's a real 5th. So this is, it's going to take a while to get used to it. When you access an array element, you have to, -1. If you want to access 5th, you want to print 4 here. If you want to access the 4th, then you have to put a 3. So now we should print banana out. Okay, that's for the squeeze answers. Let's move on to today's topics. Let's see what do we have here. Oh, continue the Java array. So we are not done with Java array yet. So we know how to access a single element of an array, but can we loop through it? Basically, oh, I want to print out every element of an array. Of course, you can, do something like, okay, I print every element, fine, print like first one, second one, like first one, second one, third one, and keep going, keep going, more line, print every of them. But that's obviously not what we are looking for, because if the array has only few entries, we can do that. But normally an array has many elements. You don't want to print out element in this way, one by one. So then the for loops come to the rescue. So the loops are our friend. So use a for loop. So we know the array, you can access element by index, so we can use a for loop, look through the array and by from 0, the first place, and to the length of the array. So we have this array, we know the length, and use that check to print everything out. So Again, instead of using the cards, we can use this throws here. So let's get rid of one line. And oh, there's another one. We don't need that one either. So we can loop through for int. You don't have to use I. You can use anything. What can we use? Index. Index, first one. Index less than the array length, semicolon, and increase index. Okay, and I think we need a curly braces, not the second one. I need that part. And first, not I here anymore. Instead of I, we want index. Okay, now let's print. So that's for loop. Add some indentation, run it. Oh, there we go. Like watermelon, pear, apple, all the way to peach. Yeah. So use a for loop. So the key is, remember the for loop works only when you know how many loops you need. So in this case, yes, we know. We know the length of the array, so we know how many loops we need to loop through every element. Oh, the for each loop can help also. Remember for each loop. For each loop, instead of we'll know the exact length of you know how many loops you need at the for loop. That's good. But for each, when you don't know, you can use the for each loop. The for each loop just look like a for loop, but instead of using a counter or pointer to count, we use actually is string less fruits. And the calibration. Remember that this fruit is a new variable. This is variable we already defined and populated. This is already defined. This is a new one. You don't have to call it. You don't have to match the element variable with the array variable. It's just a good habit. It's fruit is one of the fruits. That's fine. Or you can just call f. Doesn't matter. It's okay. So then that's for each. So this loop will copy each of the fruits value and then copy that value to this new variable, and then we can print it out. Now print not x, f fruit. So let's try that. There you go. Well, yeah, print all the way to page and start watermelon again. So that's because we got that loop. Let's review our comment. Let's comment out the first for loop. So, and run. And that's from this for each loop. Okay. So use for loop or for each loop to loop through array to print out every element. Oh, the next topic is multi-dimensional. Multi-dimensional array. Basically, is array of array. That's two-dimensional. Yeah, this is two-dimensional. Is array of array. Well, this syntax is just an example multi-dimensional. It can be array of array of array that's three-dimensional, or just repeat that forever. But in practical use, probably up to three-dimensional, four-dimensional is really, really hard use, and we don't actually know the real practical use. But two-dimensional is a very, because two-dimensional is like a matrix, so rows, columns, it's hard to, it's easier to visualize, but three-dimensional, it's hard to visualize. Anyway, let's focus on the two-dimensional. So the syntax is, array can be any type. So it's a type, two square brackets instead of one. So it's two-dimensional. So two pairs. Space and array, I got a M array, and multi-dimensional array. So the syntax is array. First your array is a pair of curly braces, and of another array of arrays. So inside that curly braces, you got multiple individual curly braces and elements means some elements, and the comma and so on. So you can have more than two or many sub array, and each array, they can have different number of elements actually. So this is kind of interesting, right? So for example, we have a 2D array of type int. Let's see, my number, just a random variable name, and curly braces, open, close. And the first subarray has 4 elements. And second subarray has 3 elements. And third one has also 3 elements. Or it can be different, or maybe just 2 elements, or even 1 element. So then how to access them? Remember, we access a single array use index, and actually that is the same case with 2D. So you just use 2 indexes. So first index is to access the subarray, the beginning of subarray, and the second index access the individual element in each subarray. Okay. For example, we have this 2D array, my numbers. What if I want to access 6? So to access 6, first you need to know what index this array is. Since that's a second subarray, so the index is 1. So that's 1. Okay, we got that array, subarray, and then what's 6? Where's 6 located? 6 is the second element of a second array. So the index in that subarray is also 1. That's why we got 1, 1, then we get a 6. Okay. What if you want to access 9? So that's a number 3, third subarray. So that's 2, right? And 9 is the second element in third arrays. Second element means index is 1. It's 1. Okay. So that's how we access 9. Let's verify. Let's verify. Array. Here's the same thing. Let's see if we can print 6 and 9. Yeah, sure enough, 6 and 9. Okay. Let's do another one. You don't have to, copy the value to a local variable. You can always just do that. Just print out the element directly. So let's say we don't know. We just want to print any number. Let's say my numbers, I don't know, 2. 2 must be the third array, and 2 again, that's a third. So third array, the third subarray, and the third element. And that should be 10. Let's see if that's 10. Yeah, it's 10. Let's try one more time. My number, I want to print, I don't know, the first subarray is 0, or how about 3? That's a fourth element. And hopefully we print something out. That should be 4. And say, okay, I want to print the fifth element. Because sometimes the subarray is really long, you cannot count. I say, I just want to print the fourth. Let's see what happens. You get an error. Exception means error. And array, see, this is a message. Means array index out of bounds exception. That means you access array through an index, but the index is outside of bounds, means beyond the array limit, from 0 to, let's see, this is from 0 to 3. This you cannot access 4 because that array doesn't have 5 elements, only 4. So you cannot access 4. So when you see this kind of error, array index out of bound, that means you access non-existent element of an array. Right. So index 4 out of bounds for length 4 array. That means this array has only 4 elements. You access index 4, that means you try to access element 5. Element of 5 does not exist. It's not defined. I cannot print anything out for you. So you get this error. Okay. All right. That's to the array there. Let's see. Oh, just like loop throw in a single dimensional array, we can use actually 2 for loops. Use 2 for loops, access all elements into. Can we do for each? I think so. I don't know why I didn't list that. But let's try the 2 for loops. Okay. Let's say we have this loop here, okay? And we want to print out everything. And we delete that. So let's do a first loop. Let's say int. We use I normally, I, J, K, L, a good candidate for the loop indicator. So I means a loop through the first the array, the subarray elements, the elements, the subarrays as elements. That's the master loop of first dimension. So do we know that length? Yes, we know this length. We know this array, how many subarrays or how many elements this top array has. So that's my numbers dot length column I plus plus. Okay, that will loop through the top, loop through element this element, second element, third element. But for each element is another array, that's the second level. So int again, j to 0. And then now we need to know the length of each element array. So my numbers and I, because that's the I element, and its length. Because it's also array, that's why it has also length. That syntax error is because we also need to increase I and that. So we have two loops. One loop inside another. The inside loop loops through each element subarray. The outside loop loops through the top loop, three elements. Okay, let's move that print out inside. And remember, we access to the array, use two indexes. The first one is the top one, second one is the inside one. And we don't need that, just coming up. So let's print that. Syntax error, don't know why. Let me see. Syntax error, what's a syntax error? Cannot convert from int to boolean. Oh. Where? What's the problem? The value of a local variable xy. Where's my xy? I don't have any xy. Wait. Do I have xy? That's that. That's that. And that. Okay. Where's the error from? Oh, the length. My numbers length minus time cannot convert from into boolean. Really? I cannot. My numbers. Oh, that's weird. That's really weird. Okay, let me try that. I thought it worked. Ah, darn, this is okay. Yeah, that's okay. Maybe something wrong. Let me see. Let me recover back. My numbers. Yeah, what the heck? Length. Did I spell length wrong? No. Holy Jesus. Yeah, that match. That's so weird. Well, it must be the typing. I don't know what happened. So this is the code, my numbers, length. Oh, right, close. Compare. Oh, well, see, that's called a bug. I just put that the length there. It's supposed to be compare, of course. And the compare is true false. It's boolean. The value itself is int. That's why the error said you cannot just put an integer as boolean. Yeah, You cannot put an integer value as the comparison true or false. That's what it's complaining about. Oh, well, we debug it and we fix it. Oh, what's that? Oh, yeah, of course. There we go. There we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So like that. If you really want to see, oh, wow, see the effect of 3 subarrays, we can print out actually after each subarray, because we know the inside for loop is for each element subarray, we can put a comma, right? Comma. We can do that. Now, if we run it, see this because 2D array. So first subarray 1, 2, 3, 4, comma. Second one 5, 6, 7, comma, and third one 8, 9, 10. Well, comma or period, doesn't matter. Okay, let me check time. Oh, 39. Ooh, oh, hurry up. Command line. Remember, from very first or second lesson, we saw this, right? You can see that's a string, square bracket, space, and a variable name. That's a string array. But we never really use that because we didn't know how to use it. Now we have learned array, especially string arrays, and we should be able to use it or know how to use it. So it's good time to switch to command line arguments. Okay, this is the main method inside this class. This is what this is used for. This is the args is a shorthand of stands for arguments. Actually, it's arguments, or some called arguments, some called command line options or parameters or input value, whatever, all the same. So a Java application can accept any number of arguments from the command line. Command line means here. Remember this command line. Command. We compile this. This is arrays. And we want to run it. We run just array. This is called a command line. And this one, this is the application. This one doesn't count. This is just like a Java force it to run. But this is our application or the command. But there's no arguments. We didn't pass anything. We can, we can put something, but whatever we call a parameter 1 maybe. The program doesn't care because inside our program we don't read the argument. We don't do anything to the argument. That's why the program runs. No matter how many parameters you pass to it, it doesn't care. The program just ignores them. But how do we not ignore them? Then we need to do something. We need to read the arguments and then do something. Okay, here's a good example of the echo. I think I have this. Oh, someone asked questions. Sorry. What's that? I don't know what you're talking about. Fook. Hope it's okay. Okay, we have a few more minutes. Echo, I think I typed. Yeah, echo. So we have the argument. Let's see, printing, we pass something. Can we print the arguments out? Yes. So let's see, we have this argument. This is the array, and this is the length. So we said first thing.
Sorry, I missed that. Could you say it again, please?
Delete my cell phone. So we say number of arguments received. args dot length. So remember in the array, the dot length property of the array, okay? So we know how many arguments we received, the program received. And we can use a for each loop, or we can use a for loop actually. We can use a for loop. Let's try the for each loop. So for each argument in this argument array, we print out that argument. Let's run it. Oh, see this program, I don't think, because when we run here, we don't know how to pass the parameters, right? So we run it, it's always 0 argument. That's because this run doesn't give our a chance to add a parameter to it. So what we need to do is compile, clear my screen, compile, echo program, and oh, error finding as echo and class pass. Oh, echo. Oh, so that's not good. So echo. Why not? Oh, not wrong. Yeah, compile. I bet. Compile, that's fine. No problem with compile. And let's run it. And when we run it, pass no arguments, say, oh, okay, you didn't pass any arguments. What if I say, let's pass argument 1, argument 2, or even argument 3, it will print out of them. Okay, I received 3 arguments, P1, P2, P3. Or you can do this. Hello world. So first argument is hello, second one is world, right? Or maybe you can even pass up that thing there. So that's 3 arguments. Number of arguments, hello world, or or 2 elements. So when you pass a thing, remember a space. So the program knows use a space as delimiter to delimit whatever you give to it, and save each as a individual argument. Okay. So 3 arguments. What if we want to print the whole line? Say, hello world, hello. If you just print that, it will print on separate line, right? But you can quote them. When you quote the thing, the program knows, oh, okay, double quote. You use a double quote, treat the inside double quote as a single argument. So in this way, because we quote everything, that means it's a 1 argument, and then it treat that 1 argument as 1 thing. And when you print out, that will print out in 1 line. Watch this. Oh, even not found. Ben is a special character. So, oh, it's not saved. The Ben sign is special. Can we still use it? Let's try that. Remember that thingy. See if that works. Oh yeah. Oh, funny. It works, but it keep that escape character. That's still not ideal. What if I single? Can I use a single quote? Single. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's better. So single is better. So we have this special thing, then yeah, use a single. Otherwise, double should be fine. Yeah, if you don't have that, if something else, then period, that should be fine. Yeah, that's fine. So that's command line. We don't have time to do anything else. Okay, good. And we are done actually. So couple quiz questions, and yeah, that's it. Oh, again, remind your parents to register this class for next term if you want to continue, and I hope you will. So one more lesson, and then this term will be done. Okay. All right then. Have a good evening.